Good evening to you. My name is Maria Kądzielska and this is Poland Daily Culture. And again, here with me is Jonny Daniels, the founder of From the Depths Foundation. Jonny, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And I know you've been a Santa Claus. We have described and talked about it in the previous episode. And you've been helping Polish Righteous Among the Nations and having a tour all around Poland, bringing them gifts, Christmas trees, and talking to them. And it's truly, really amazing. And so answer me this question, because probably not everyone knows that still people who saved Jews still live in Poland. And how old are they? So how old is the oldest person you visited?
So the oldest person in Poland is 101 years old, Mr. Józef Łaszczak, an incredible man. In fact, Roman Polanski, the famous director, said about him that if he hadn't made the movie The Pianist, he would have made a film about Joseph's life. A remarkable individual.
Really?
Absolutely. Joseph saved 54 Jews. The story is like James Bond. The man is an incredible person. He's 101. And it was amazing. I love going to see him.
101. Well, probably COVID is not a thing which will take him down.
I mean, he's truly a fighter. I mean, he's a really remarkable individual. We visited Joseph already about 3 or 4 times during COVID, taking him product and all he needs to stay at home because of his advanced age, as with the other righteous, not just in Poland, but all over Europe. And I think that one of the things that people maybe don't understand is that Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Museum from the State of Israel, honored 27,000 or so non-Jews for risking their lives to save Jews during the war. So there's just over 200 righteous still living. And this is something that really is a factor that not many people realize, that these people at the end of their lives, and this is a last opportunity. Next year, as I was preparing for delivering these Christmas packages in Poland and around Europe, we had the current list of the living righteous, and there were 212. 3-4 days later, the number was sadly down to 208. They're in an advanced age, and unfortunately they're passing away quickly. So this really is a last opportunity, not just obviously to be of assistance to them, to help them, but also to learn from them, and to make sure that their history, their memory, their stories are not forgotten. Remarkably, a lot of these people, their stories are pieces and parts of other things online. Could you imagine that these people, most of them haven't had this opportunity to be interviewed like we have, to sit down and to tell their story properly? And this is also part of what we're really trying to do, because when we look at this history of the Second World War, it's easy to be encompassed and to be pulled down by the tragic story of the death of murder of 6 million Jews and millions of Poles and millions of others. But it's these lights, these shining beacons of hope during this time that, at least for me, give me a hope in what humanity can be and should be. And so I really want to take from them and learn from them whilst I can, and make sure that my kids do, and make sure that this history is spread out amongst the world for all of us to remember.
Absolutely. When we think about the World War II, we always sometimes think, yes, I would be the one helping the Jews. I would be the one hiding them. But obviously it's probably not true, because a very small amount of people had the courage to do it. And even right now, not a lot of people go, for example, out and help others. So it's the comparison that I would say kind of the same. So very important that they are not forgotten, especially right now during this time of distress, when they cannot go out, when they cannot spend sometimes time with their family, or even just talk to others because of the danger.
Yeah, well, it's very easy to look and say, I would have done that. The truth is, I'm a parent. I have 2 beautiful daughters. I don't think I'd risk my daughters' lives for anybody else's. This is the honest truth. As much as I'd like to think of myself as a good person, in that scenario, I'd probably be more likely to take care of my kids. And there is comparison to today. How many of us, who more knows than you about the situation of the Uyghurs in China? Who's standing up and fighting for them? Who's fighting for the rights of Christians, in the Middle East? Who's standing up for the oppressed people today? Very, very few of us. And so these people really can and should be learned from, and their history should and must not be forgotten.
Very few of us buy a gift for a stranger even. Who is buying Christmas gifts, for example, for orphans in the orphanage? like not many still,
Not
but
many.
and of course they need help. So yes, so what they did is remarkable, and it's important to remember about it. Them.
And this should teach us. This really should teach us to stand up and do what's right. And
One reaction, one thing which you got during this trip which really moved you. There was any, I would say, funny or strange or different situation, especially that after all, you spent a lot of years in Poland already, but still your Polish, I would say, is not perfect, and you needed to challenge it with them. How did it work?
that's tricky. Thankfully, I have amazing people who help me often. On the last leg of the trip, I did alone. And that was challenging. My Polish is challenged, I should say. It's not the best, but good enough to talk to them and to hear from them and learn from them. And I think the main point that I took from this trip is how excited they were that we were coming. We'd call in obviously in advance to make sure that it was okay. And almost every single time they were waiting by the window. And you'd approach the house and you could see them looking out. And they'd prepared the medal and their folders from Yad Vashem and the pictures from the war. They just wanted to show and share this experience. And this for me is the part that always moves me the most. You know, when they turn around and thank me, you know, one of the righteous Józef Jarosz lives up in the mountains in Messina, higher than Novi Sącz. A beautiful, beautiful place. And I always drive up to him. And I had a big truck on this trip because of the amount of packages we were taking. I had to switch it for a smaller car because I was scared to drive up the mountain in a truck. And I got up there and he said, "Oh my goodness, wow, that's incredible. You came all the way up the mountain to visit us." And I sat down and I said, "Pan Józef, Mr. Józef," I said, "you did this trip throughout the war on a horse and by foot, right? With 14 Jews hiding in a cellar. I'm driving up a mountain. It's hardly comparable. For me, it's an afternoon driving. It's an easy thing to do. It's asking other people and collecting brilliant people together to give back. It's easy for me. What they did was remarkable. And this, I think, was the thing that really stood out most for me, was quite how thankful people are when you just spread a little love and happiness and you just come and you smile, even through a mask. You can see the smile in the eyes and you can feel the love that we give to them and that they gave to us. And I think that this is the message. And this is the message not just for now or not just for the holiday season, because we've continued. We did this during COVID. We're going to continue after the holiday season. There's another big round in the end of January, taking more products to them to make sure they stay safe during hopefully the end of COVID. But just spread a little love and happiness. It's the easiest thing to do.
Those things are probably also the lights during Christmas time, because we should remember about those who were brave and saving lives of others. And that's what the righteous among the nation did, inspired across religions and across cultures. So I hope you remember about them. And if you would like to join this event and what From the Depths is doing, go and check their website. All the details are out there. And thank you very much for watching Poland Daily Culture.